Yeah, I know exactly what you're thinking. It's not Thursday night, so how's going to be the return of the Thursday night golf show? The thing is, this is not a Thursday night golf show.
My goodness.
Okay, yeah, so welcome to the very first Not the Thursday Night Golf Show, and before I go any further, let's credit the man who came up with the name, which is a keen supporter of the channel, Richard Todd. When I was whinging about my regular commitment to a Thursday night episode, Richard suggested that I come up with a Not the Thursday Night Golf Show, which allowed me to do it on any night of the week as and when I felt there was a topic ready for discussion. So well done, Richard. Thanks to you we got this name. And it also does exactly that. It allows us to have a bit of a chat like now when there's a bit going on. For those of you, I mean, the last Thursday night show that I did was probably about 6, 7, maybe 8 weeks ago at the most. And in that time, we've probably gained about, the channel has gained about 1,200 new taggers, subscribers to the channel, which is absolutely fantastic. So for those of you who are joining us, don't know what the Thursday Night Golf Show is or was, it was just a general opportunity for us to have a sit down and a chat, a bit of a one-on-one, and talk about any sort of relevant golfing news, I suppose. So this is the very first Not the Thursday Night Golf Show. We're going to start off with something which I've discovered personally over the last few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and something that I need your help with in terms of opinion. And it is combo sets in irons. And by combo sets, what I mean is a mix of two different club types, maybe even from two different manufacturers, put together to make your full set of irons. And that's something that I'm currently debating as a possibility for me, and I want to know what your thoughts are, and if any of you have done that already. I've read from a few subscribers' comments that yes, you have, so interesting to see if you've now played with them. I think Geordie Sandcaster, I know you're waiting for your tight list to arrive, and that sounds like a good potential setup, AP3s and AP2s. Now, basic principle is this, and I'm going to do some videos to try and look at putting a combo set together in the coming weeks. But the struggles are that obviously you can go to in the longer irons, perhaps the 4, 5, 6, even maybe 7 iron, you may choose a sort of game improvement iron, I suppose we'll call it. Those irons will be probably stronger lofted, and when you get then to change to a player's iron, and maybe, like I said, wherever you do your switch over in the 6 or 7 iron possibly, there's going to be probably a big gap in terms of the loft of the clubs. So the ideal scenario is that you play a game improvement iron for those longer irons and then go to possibly a forged club in those shorter irons where perhaps you're looking for a bit more, in my case, feel a forged club offers. And the other ability that the forged club offers is for you to be able to strengthen lofts on those clubs so that you can get the gapping right from that, like I said, for that crossover. And that's something that a number of the manufacturers offer, and something, like I said, that I'm going to look at doing a video on. So I'm going to put together, I think it's going to be something with TaylorMade looking to get involved, and we're going to do something where we look to blend the P790 into one of their, maybe into the P730s, and see if we can get, because what I'm then interested in and my concern is that yes, when you get the lofts, the gapping right in terms of the loft, so we adjust probably strengthen the lofts in the forged irons, I'm still looking to see, my concern is, because I've not done this and not tried it, is if that gaps the yardage right or not without having tried them. And that's my next sort of topic of debate, and this one is one that I'm looking to aim at the manufacturers and club fitters. But again, I want your opinions on it. What I've done for the past whatever it is now, 18 months in terms of club testing, in the main, the majority of manufacturers send out a 7 iron for testing, and if you go for a club fit, in the main, you will try a 7 iron, and everything will be based upon how you perform with that 7 iron. That's what your fitting will derive what product you end up ordering. My issue with that, and it affects it more in the combo set idea, I suppose, but for me, ideally, I would love to try the shorter and longer irons before I then go ahead and make the purchase. And that's something that, in terms of the club fitters, I know we can't go on forever and a day in terms of, I imagine there's a huge expense for the manufacturers to enable them to do this. But I just wonder if we could get something when the club fitters get something like a 7 iron, a 9 iron, and maybe the 4 iron. Because for me personally, I'd much rather try out, like I said, the both ends of the bag, if you like, as well as that 7 iron. And as I said, for you to be able to do anything in terms of the combo set, in terms of gapping, I would hate to buy a set of clubs based on the changing of Lofts suggesting that that gap has been filled, but without having actually struck them on a launch monitor and see if I've really got that yardage gap right. Because that's, again, the all important thing is when you get out on the course. I mean, if you're hitting your 6 iron 170, you want your 7 iron literally 10 yards, 12 yards shorter of that. So you get where I'm coming from. But I would like to try those irons out. I just wondered again if that's something that you would like to see from the manufacturers and from the club fitters, and if it's something you've experienced yourself as perhaps an issue when you've tried these clubs out yourself. Right, so that's it on combo sets. Next thing is the ball testing. Now, we're about to start the ball testing. I reckon within the next 5 to 7 days, I will start the process of ball testing. And to be fair, it's been a fantastic response we've had all the big brands that you would expect, so the Titleist, TaylorMade, Strixon, Callaway, and then we've had Wilson, and then we've had balls sent in from people like Vice Golf, Seed Golf. These are names. I'm going to try and get hold of the Kirkland ball as well, the Costco ball. We've then looked at likes of Dunlop balls. I've got literally a huge range of golf balls to test. Question is, I want to fire this one at you. How do you think is the best way for me to test the golf balls? How would you like to see them tested? My thought process at the moment is to categorize them in via price. So I'm going to separate them into separate categories price-wise, and then start the testing maybe sort of 3 or 4 or 5 balls in each of those categories, and sort of maybe narrow it down from there, and then ultimately at the end of it all pit perhaps the winners or the best performer of each of those categories against one another, and see, you know, is it really worth us spending the money for the premium ball when there might be something available out there that can stand up against it for a little lower cost. That's the idea I'm thinking, but like I said, really happy to take any advice from you people out there, because at the end of the day, this video is really on behalf of average golfers. I think it's a real good thing that we'd like to find out. I know it's one personally I'd like to find out, and I'm going to do my best to try and demonstrate that for you in testing. So I'm going to do 7 iron indoor in the bay, which you've seen, which will get the kind of really, we're just looking at spin number from that, I think. Then I'm going to take the golf balls outside, and we're going to look at some short, maybe wedges into greens, 9 irons into greens with the shorter irons, and then maybe a bit shorter chipping, putting around the greens, just to establish feel. I think the only thing that I won't be doing on the testing is driving at tee shots. That's the bit that I think is going to be difficult for me to kind of monitor and really have some informative feedback that makes any sense. So that's where I'm at the moment. Anyway, like I said, your opinions down below. Right, next thing I want to mention, we've had massive support in the last few weeks, and if you've watched the latest videos, we've had now Callaway sending us the golf product to test very, very early, pre-embargo dates. Got the same now with TaylorMade. TaylorMade have supported the channel with the TP5 golf ball for all the product testing, so this is absolutely fantastic. I've said the thanks to them, and if you've watched the videos, I've also tried to thank the subscribers and followers of the channel, because that essentially is why we've had the golf balls and golf clubs sent to us, is because we're building a great bunch of average golfers here who are looking for the same thing as what I'm looking for, and hopefully that working together with the comments, My opinion starts all the ball rolling, but that's about all it does do. It's your comments down below that make the thing very interactive, and it's very good, I think, for these manufacturers to see your comments and how you've responded to the video. So massive thanks for doing that. Yeah, been superb. The other thing that was a very positive note was the on-course club testing. Did a couple of videos, and I'm going to be back out. I'm going to be with the P790s. I've got the 5 and 9 iron from TaylorMade, and I'm going to do an on-course test with that as well. That's coming up. And then one last thing, I just want to give a shout out to a channel that I work with a bit in the summer in a couple of course vlogs. It's Golf Vlogs UK, Liam Harrison. No doubt many of you from our channel will have seen his, but if you're new to ours, then yeah, I did a few vlogs with Liam in the summer. Since then, I've been busy doing a lot of the club testing, and he's carried on doing the course vlogs, but we'll be back together again very soon. We're on our way to Monterey in Portugal. That's care of Glencore Holidays, so we're back doing some course vlogs and some other videos out there. That's November the 13th, I think. That's a 3 or 4 day trip. But I just want to give a mention to go and have a look at his channel and subscribe. Liam has lots of fun on course vlogs. He's got a great bunch of lads that he golfs with regularly, all plenty of fun. Doesn't take it too serious at all. So yeah, get over there and subscribe. And also, he's arranging a trip to Marmanor, I think it's Murcia, in February. It's the Golf Mates Barmy Army, as he calls it. So make sure you keep your eye out and get yourself onto that as well if you fancy that in February on his channel. Right, my eyes are glancing slightly right because the battery is just flashing at me as if it's about to go. That's not good planning. But anyway, plenty of comments down below if you will. I love this interaction. It's great to have the Not the Thursday Night Golf Show on. We'll sit down and do these discussions as and when, but for the time being, before that battery goes, I will say bye, thank you for watching, and I'll see you very soon.